Today, we are going to be answering some really important questions. Stuff about anger, procrastination, self awareness, healing, boundaries, relationships, money blocks, all of that human, messy stuff that most of us go through. And the special part about all of this is that these questions have come from you guys. I basically opened up a space for anonymous questions from the community, and wow, the stuff that came in, it was like reading pages straight out of people's journals. Very raw, real, and unfiltered questions. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. So, this episode is basically just me sitting down with those questions and just talking to you. No therapist voice, just some real talk, reflections, and hopefully a little clarity for wherever you are at right now. So, pop in your headphones and let's dive in. This is the Life Reimagined podcast. I'm Aditi Goyal, and this is your space to explore growth, healing, and living life on your own terms. Because sometimes all it takes is one conversation to shift everything. So, the very first question is, what is the root cause of getting angry and irritated easily, and how to overcome that feeling? Wow. Now, anger is actually a really interesting topic because anger is the most villainized emotions of all. So fear is okay, feeling sadness is okay, but anger is something that is quite unacceptable. And especially for women, anger is something that we're never allowed to feel, right? You can't be loud, you can't scream, you can't get triggered so easily. You have to hold it all together. And so we keep on pushing and pushing and pushing this anger inside. So, usually being constantly irritated is a sign that there is some unresolved anger lurking in the background, trying to come out, trying to come up to the surface, but is unable to because you're not allowing it. So, it comes up in a milder form, which is irritation. Because irritation is a slightly more acceptable emotion than raw rage and anger. And if you really think about it, anger is a protective emotion, right? It's just trying to keep you safe. And if you can start seeing it as something that's working in your favor, then things start to shift. In fact, all emotions, not just anger, are just supposed to come up and down like a wave, right? But if you don't deal with it when it rises up and it comes up, it is not able to go down and release its grip over you. It's not able to follow its natural rhythm of energy, which is coming up and going down back again. So that means that then it's just going to sit there unprocessed, coming up again and again through frustration, irritation, and all of that. And so to deal with it, you simply want to create that space and acceptance for your anger to be felt, expressed, and released. And whether this means sharing your heart out to a friend, screaming into a pillow, or dancing it out, whatever it might look for you, the point is to get that energy out of your body. And before I move on to the next question, I just kind of want to sum it up with this. Anger is not the enemy. It's coming from a part of you that really loves you and knows that you deserve better. So the minute you stop villainizing it and start looking at it as something that's working in my favor, it stops being so intense and so control and labeled as bad and the enemy of all, right? Okay, moving on. The next question is, how can I stop procrastinating? Okay, so this is definitely one of the most relatable questions because I think most of us have experienced some level of procrastination on some days where we're just not able to do what we need to do. So, to answer this, I first want to emphasize on this very important point that procrastination does not mean that you're lazy. And it's not a reason for you to beat yourself up, right? Because we don't want our self identity to become that of someone who's lazy. Because then you enter something called a self fulfilling prophecy, right? Where because I am labeling myself as lazy, it actually starts becoming true. And then that is my go to excuse for every time that I'm not able to actually take action or actually get things done. I'm just like, yeah, I can't really help it. I'm just a lazy person. That's just who I am, and it's beyond my control and I can't help it. Right? We don't want that to happen. So procrastination does not mean that you're lazy. Procrastination is the way that your brain is trying to protect you, right? It's making up excuses, it's putting off work because on some level, the brain is sensing that there is some sort of threat in doing whatever work it is that you need to do. And this sense of threat can be very different, okay? So let's take an example. So let's say you've been procrastinating about creating social media content and putting yourself out there when you know that this is the right step to take to expand your business, to business, grow your visibility, get more clients. But I'm still stuck in this pattern of procrastination because my brain is sensing on some level that maybe making reels and putting myself out there is not safe, right? What if I get rejected? What if people don't understand me? What if people don't accept me for who I am? What if I am judged? So there are all these fears that are lurking in the background that are stopping and preventing you from actually going and doing that thing. It's not about being lazy. Okay, so the question is not about, okay, how do I stop procrastinating, because that's just the surface level symptom. But the question should be, how do I deal with this underlying fear and blocks that are keeping me from what I want to do? Because once you take care of that, the procrastination automatically goes away, right? Now if I'm feeling safe enough to create content, or if I'm feeling safe enough to do what I need to do, I will automatically do it. It will feel exciting, it will feel a lot of fun, and I will just do it without needing some sort of motivation from the outside, right? And I think also just this awareness of, okay, I'm procrastinating not because I'm lazy, but because I'm scared of XYZ, right? I'm scared of being rejected or failing or whatever it is a game changer, because it brings about this shift that moves you from this energy of beating yourself up over it and feeling really bad about yourself and criticizing yourself, to feeling a little more compassionate and loving towards yourself, because that is actually where change happens, right? You cannot criticize yourself into changing. Try it if you want, but it's not going to work. You can only change from a place of acceptance and lovingness, right? Because if you keep resisting it and if you keep pushing it away, it will continue to persist. Which actually brings me to the next question, which is, what does what you resist persists actually mean when you're stuck in a controlling relationship? Okay, so to answer the first bit, what you resist will persist basically means that the more we fight something, push it away, or try to control it, the more it sticks around, right? It doesn't just disappear. In fact, it ends up taking a lot more space inside you because you're giving it that energy without even realizing it. And it's almost like pushing a beach ball underwater. The harder you try to push it down, the more the pressure builds, and eventually it just pops right back up, right? And emotions, patterns, memories, they all work in the same way. The more you try to push it away and control it, the more it stays and grows stronger. And probably the most relatable way to understand this is, those high school crushes that we had. The more we kept it to ourselves, the more we kept it as a secret, the stronger it got. But the second we told someone, maybe a friend or even the person themselves, if you were brave enough, it kind of lost its intensity over you. It lost its power over you because you were no longer in the space of resisting it and pushing it away, but you went ahead and accepted it, right? So when you accept things, it almost feels like a moment of release, like a moment of surrender, and that is actually when change can happen, right? Now when it comes to something like a controlling relationship, this hits even harder. So you might be resisting the reality of what's going on, or maybe you're trying to convince yourself that things aren't that bad, or if you just do more or say less, it'll get better. Or you might feel this deep urge to even fix things, make peace, take action, improve the dynamics of the relationship. But in doing that, you're not really allowing yourself to feel what the relationship is doing to you right now, right? You're actually giving it more power by resisting the truth. The more you resist the truth of what is happening right now, the more stuck you feel, the more you get kind of pulled into the issue that you're facing. So the work here isn't to fight the situation harder, it's to gently see it for what it is, right? To stop pushing against your own feelings, to stop resisting your own clarity, and allow the truth to exist, right? Because once you allow the truth to exist, it is going to be uncomfortable, right? But that is when you get your power back. That is when you are in this space where, okay, I accept what it is, and this makes me feel calmer and much more at peace. And now, because I am so much more regulated and so much more in at peace, I can start doing things differently. I can start taking actions that will ultimately improve the situation. But you can't do it from a place of, I need to make this happen, or I need this to sort out right now. Acceptance comes before action. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Meditation is really hard. How can I improve focus in that? Love that we're keeping this real, because yes, meditation sounds peaceful, but the actual experience is like a mental wrestling match. It is tough, right? Meditation is hard. It's not the easiest thing, and I don't want to sit here and tell you, no, no, meditation is super easy, just go for it. And because that's not true. I mean, even my experience of when I started out with meditation was not the best one. It was tough, and especially when your mind is used to being busy 24/7 with work and with household stuff and with taking care of children and all of those things. And suddenly you're like, okay, hey, let's sit in silence and breathe. And the brain's just going crazy. And it's like, yeah, that's not happening. You can't just suddenly ask me to switch off and sit in silence. So you're sitting there in meditation, thinking about what to cook for dinner, remembering that weird thing you said in 2014 and wondering if you're actually doing it right. So, yes, it's not easy, but it is absolutely worth it. And just like anything else, you get better at it the more you do it, right? It is a practice. It's always called as the practice of meditation, which means that there is a process to it, right? You get better at it the more you do it, the more you experience it, the easier it gets, the more skilled you get at it. So, firstly, if your mind is wandering, that's normal, right? That's actually kind of the point. If you had zero thoughts and zero mind wandering, you probably don't even need to meditate, right? So the goal isn't to have zero thoughts, it's simply to just notice it when your mind drifts and just bring it back. That's all meditation is about, right? Let it drift, because it will. You can't really stop it from drifting. But when you realize, okay, I'm thinking about random things, I'm just going to bring my attention back to my breath or to the music or whatever I'm using as an anchor. Okay. And sometimes we sit down to meditate thinking that it's instantly supposed to make me feel peaceful and blissful and happy. But that's not actually true. Right? The truth is that when you sit down for meditation, the first thing that comes up is everything that you've been avoiding: the noise, the restlessness, the thoughts, the buried emotion, all of it rises to the surface, and that is uncomfortable. But that is actually part of the practice, that is actually the point of the practice. Okay. So if your focus is all over the place, that's okay. That's literally what the practice is for. You're not really failing, you're training, right? It's like going to the gym for your attention span. It's going to get better, it's going to get stronger. And a great way to get used to sitting in meditation without the pressure of, am I doing it right, is to use guided meditations, right? They work wonders. That's also how I started into the whole meditation journey. There are a ton of guided meditations that you can find on YouTube, on all different sorts of meditation apps. It's literally everywhere, and you can't go wrong with them. Or you can also just try this trick that I really love. Instead of saying, I need to clear my mind, you say that I'm just going to sit with myself for a few minutes. And what this simple reframe of words does is that it softens the pressure, right? It takes off that need for perfectionism, that need of achieving that goal of clearing your mind. It's just a simple practice now where you're just going to sit with yourself, right? Really softens the whole attachment that we have of what meditation should look like. Okay, so to sum it up, if meditation is hard, you're actually doing it right. Just keep showing up, keep coming back, and that's where the magic happens. Moving on, the next question is, how can I resolve my severe gut issues and pelvic pain once and for all? This has been going on for 8 years now. Okay. Okay, first of all, I just want to say that I feel that 8 years is a long time to be carrying pain in your body, and I know how exhausting it can be when you've tried so many things and you're just not getting the relief that you deserve. And at this point, actually, it's not even just physical, it starts to wear off your emotional and your mental resources as well, right? And when the pain stays in the body for years, this isn't just about the body anymore, right? The body is actually holding something on an emotional level. And I say that with so much gentleness, not with putting blame where it's like, okay, you are doing something wrong, you're thinking some wrong thoughts, but more like, okay, what is my body trying to say? What is it that I haven't fully heard yet? What emotional um cause might be at the root of this? I really believe, and I've seen it in my own journey as well as with so many other people, that there is a strong mind body connection, especially when it comes to chronic stuff like chronic pain or chronic gut issues. But I'm not going to sit here and throw solutions at you because I know how annoying that can be. But I will say this: if there is something very chronic going on in your body on a physical level, there is some deep rooted emotional baggage that you need to deal with. And there are a ton of resources out there to learn how to do that. You can, of course, even go for um, one-to-one coaching with a specialized alternative therapy medicine or something on those lines. I have also created a mind body connection course, which is by no means a quick fix, but is a space where you can slow down and start to understand what your body has been trying to say, why these issues are happening in the first place. Not with blame, but with a lot of curiosity, a lot of love, and a lot of gentleness. And most importantly, with no pressure to be healed overnight. Because the body is always wanting to heal, it is always wanting to go towards harmony and balance and health. But there is something that is blocking this natural process, this natural ability of the body to heal and take care of itself. And all we need to do is to really remove those blocks, right? We don't need to heal the body. We can't heal the body will heal itself. All we need to do is to remove the blocks that are stopping this process from happening. And that takes time, it takes support, it takes patience. But like I said again, it's worth it. Okay, moving on. How do I let go of jealousy and insecurity? Okay, so jealousy and insecurity are very core human emotions, and they are super, super normal. And I think the first step is to just be honest with yourself that, okay, this exists inside me without shaming ourselves for it. So, jealousy and insecurity will show up when there's a part of us that's scared, a part of us that does not feel enough or feels left behind or unseen. And sometimes that part does not need to be fixed, right? It just needs to be heard and held. So, when I feel those feelings rise up, I try not to judge them. I just get curious like, okay, what am I craving underneath this? Is it more connection, more recognition? Do I feel unsafe or unseen right now? And you know what? Right now, and you know what? Jealousy really gets a bad rep. Like, we're told that it's this ugly emotion and we're not supposed to feel jealous. Or how can you feel jealous? That just means like you're a bad person. But Actually, it's a beautiful messenger, right? Like all emotions, jealousy is also a messenger. And when you sit with it patiently, without the shame, but only with curiosity, jealousy is just showing you what you deeply desire, right? It's like your soul is quietly whispering, hey, I want that too, right? But the issue is that we see it from a lens of lack and longing, on the lines of, oh, why does she have it and I can't have it, right? But if we switch it up to, hey, I think I would really love to have this, how can I make this happen? What is she doing differently to have that? That's a complete flip. And the flip happens when you stop making it mean that you're not enough and start letting it guide you towards what you're meant to create, experience, and receive. And yes, it will still sting sometimes. That is the point of the emotion, to really bring it to your awareness that, I want that. I really want that. But that's okay. That's just information. It's just showing you what your heart still longs for. Okay, the next one is big. I am struggling to be abundant in terms of money. Now, let's unpack this question a little bit, because when we say we are struggling with abundance, it's actually worth asking, is it the actual money that you're struggling with? Like, am I struggling to meet my basic needs right now? Or is there technically enough money, but I still feel lack? I still feel not supported, not free. Because these are two different kinds of struggles, right? And both are valid, both are completely valid. But the second one, the quiet inner scarcity, is also super real, right? It's not always about the number in your bank account, but it's about how your body and your nervous system feels in relation to money. So it's not just about looking at your bank balance and seeing whether you're meeting your needs, it's about your relationship with money. So do you feel safe receiving money? Do you feel guilty when you spend on yourself? Do you instantly feel like you have to give it all away or save it all and hold it because it's not going to come back? Or do you feel that you have to hustle a lot to earn enough money? Because the truth is that it's actually never about creating abundance, because abundance is always there, right? We are meant to be abundant, we are born abundant. And yes, this goes into a little bit of a spiritual realm, and I don't want to really discuss that right now. But the truth is that we are already abundant. It is our natural state. We only need to start looking at it. And honestly, abundance as well has never been about numbers. It's again about how you feel with money. Do you feel the freedom that money brings? Do you feel peace, joy, safety? Or do you still feel like it's not enough? That you're stuck in the hustle, the fear, the struggle? Or do you feel that money brings pain and fights and a lot of bad attention, a lot of manipulation? So what is your association and representation of money is a big factor in how abundant you will feel. And of course, it's a big topic, and I would love to do a separate podcast just on this. But I think for now, a good starting point is to observe what limiting beliefs might be holding you back. And now for the last question for today. This one is for all my people pleasers out there. The question is, I really want to heal, but I'm struggling with poor boundaries, not being able to say no, and being assertive feels like people walk easily all over me and disrespect me. And that makes my heart resentful, but I don't want to be resentful. I'm very overgiving and I really want to overcome it. Okay. I feel this so deeply. I know how confusing it can be, because when your heart is so big, you just want to help, you want to show up, you care. But somewhere along the way, people start taking more than they give. And because you were never taught how to protect that gentle, nurturing part of you, so you're now in this painful place where being kind feels like self abandonment and resentful, while saying no feels like you're being mean. So here's the truth: saying no is not cruel. Having boundaries is not you being bad. It's just you finally choosing you, right? Boundaries are not about saying no to others, but more about saying yes to yourself. It's okay to not be available for everything and everyone all the time. It's okay to protect your energy because your energy is worth protecting. And it's okay to also feel that inner tug of war right now between the part of you that is done being walked over and over giving, and the part of you that's afraid of what happens when you start saying no and drawing boundaries. So I know that it feels heavy right now, but healing is not about making big dramatic changes overnight, right? It's about tiny, tiny steps. And I want to share a little bit about my story as well with this. So I was also in a very similar space of being a people pleaser, putting everyone else before me, and honestly, I was quite done with it. And I decided that this is not how I am going to be carrying on. Right? Things need to change. I need to work on my relationship with myself. I need to build my self-esteem and self-love. And while I can tell you that everything changed overnight, that would be a lie. It did not. It absolutely did not. In fact, I did all the things that I was told to do, saying no, speaking up for myself, asking for what I want, drawing boundaries, and all of that. But nothing really felt different. It was still hard, and I kept feeling like nothing's really working. But I was not okay with going back to being the same person. So I kept going, kept doing things that I was supposed to do. And one day I woke up and felt completely different. Like everything just suddenly changed, right? I felt more alive, more in touch with myself, more assertive. And of course, it didn't change overnight. My efforts were compounding over time. So it was like constructing a building brick by brick where there's nothing really for a long period of time, and then suddenly there's this whole big building that's created. So that is the process, right? It's slow, it's messy, and you will not see results right away, but trust me, all those tiny moments of conscious decisions matter. They add up, they compound, and one day you look back and realize how much you have actually changed. So, healing is a journey and it is absolutely worth it. Also, if you feel like these wounds are deep rooted and tied to your childhood, I highly recommend checking out my inner child course. A lot of these patterns, like poor boundaries, overgiving, really come from the past, and healing this part of you can make such a huge difference. So, before I wrap up, I just want to say thank you to everyone who submitted questions. I know we didn't get to all of them today, and I'm really sorry about that, but we'll keep doing more episodes like this. Also, feel free to submit your anonymous questions, and hopefully, we'll create an episode around your questions soon. The goal here is to build a space where we all can feel safe and open, talking about things that actually matter, right? No shame, no judgment, just real, honest conversations. That's it for today, and I'll see you in the next episode.